I was pretty convinced that Bitcoin was going to be the next big thing before Elon tweeted one negative thing about it, and obviously that just destroys my entire bullish thesis, which means that I have to sell out of all my Bitcoin now. No, I'm kidding. Are you kidding me? This is absolutely ridiculous, right? This is how absolutely ridiculous some people sound when Elon made that tweet the other day. So if you're the type of person who would absolutely just panic and just sell out of everything and panic sell because somebody tweeted one negative thing about it, well then quite frankly, I don't think that you should be investing in crypto because this is one of the most volatile markets and people say all kinds of things all the time. Even if that person is Elon Musk, he could say something and drop the market, and if that's going to make you panic and make you question your conviction, well then you shouldn't be in crypto, right? But seriously though, we should talk about this though, because I do think that this is very important, and I've seen a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt, or FUD being thrown around on the internet, and I've seen a lot of misinformation being thrown around too. So let's talk about this and kind of clear the air as to what's going on. So without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Elon tweeted this yesterday, and I'll show it to you right now. So basically, to summarize, he announced that Tesla will stop accepting Bitcoin as payment, citing environmental concerns surrounding Bitcoin mining. And right after he tweeted this, Bitcoin price dropped from 57,000 US dollars, I think it was around there, to under 47,000 US dollars. So it dropped a whole 10K before rebounding a bit today. But it's still way down compared to where it was before. And obviously this is controversial to so many people and so many different levels because this whole Bitcoin mining versus the environment debate has been going on for as long as Bitcoin has been a thing, okay? So before I share my own opinions, let me go through some of the facts. And if you don't believe me, you can always Google them later or pause the video and Google them in real time. So you can always verify these facts if you don't believe me, but I'm gonna leave my opinion out of this for just 1 second until the end of the video. And then at the end of the video, I'm gonna share some of my own personal thoughts. But let's just go through some of the facts so that we can clear the air about the FUD and all the misinformation, right? So fact number one, over 70% of Bitcoin mining uses renewable energy. So Anthony Pompliano actually says that it's around 75%. Some of the other sources I saw put it at 74, some put it closer towards 70, but it's roughly there, okay? So that's number one. Number two, Michael Saylor pointed this out. So on a year-to-date basis, the energy consumption has actually gone up around 40%, whereas total assets on the Bitcoin network grew by over 100%, which means that Bitcoin is actually getting more efficient. So although yes, it is using a lot more power, the energy consumption on a per dollar basis is going down. So that's number two. Number three, if we're going to talk about energy consumption, there are a lot of things that use more energy than Bitcoin, okay? So for example, Christmas lights, the gaming industry, or of course the internet itself, right? So nobody is saying that we should ban the internet because it uses too much energy. And quite frankly, I don't think that we should be looking at total energy use because total energy use isn't really the problem in my opinion. Because if you look at total energy use, humanity as a whole, the entire world is always trending upwards in terms of the amount of energy that we use, right? That's just only because we're getting more technologically advanced. So we're going to use more energy, right? So there's more population in the world in total as well. So I don't think that that's the problem. So I don't think we should be looking at total energy. We should be looking at where the energy is coming from, which again ties back to the 70%, over 70% renewable energy thing for Bitcoin mining. So yeah, that's number three. And number four is that I saw an interview between Meet Kevin and the CEO of Hut 8, which is a Bitcoin mining company based here in Canada. And what the CEO of Hut 8 had to say was that a lot of the times, Bitcoin mining operations actually fit into the grid very well because power stations either need to shut down or if they're powering on, they need to maintain a base kind of output of energy when they're on, right? So if power demand is very low, it won't meet the base basic supply, the base supply that the power station is putting out, but they can't shut down the power station either because the demand is not zero, it's just very low. So that creates kind of a conundrum where the energy would be wasted if it wasn't given to these crypto miners. So this is very interesting because in cases like this, we can actually harness the base load of the energy that's being outputted by these power stations if they're not being consumed. So we'll use it as Bitcoin mining, right? So we'll convert it into Bitcoin and actually store it as financial energy. So that's kind of the big use case of Bitcoin, is a store of value. So that's exactly what Bitcoin is being used for, right? We're using it to store value. So if we can convert the energy, which otherwise, by the way, would have been wasted because there's no way, battery technology is not good enough to harness like the base load of a power plant if it's not if the demand is not high enough, right? So the energy would have been wasted otherwise. So why not just give it to Bitcoin miners, right? Or not even give it, we're selling it to them. So they're actually paying the grid to use that energy, even though that energy would have been wasted otherwise, right? So I think that's like a great way to harness the lost energy, which brings me to my next point, which is that Bitcoin and crypto in general actually help displace the need for the current financial system. So the idea is that, if you're using Bitcoin to send money overseas, for example, you might as a result use less things like wire transfers or other traditional financial methods, right? So as a result, you're displacing the need for traditional financial services, which tend to be more energy intensive than Bitcoin, right? So think about how many brick and mortar kind of branches are there in the world and how many office buildings there are from like banks and whatnot, right? So I also just want to throw in as well that the next point is that Bitcoin mining, like the amount of energy that's being inputted into the Bitcoin network, is actually central to the reliability and trustworthiness to Bitcoin. So we're not just using all this electricity for fun, okay? So we're actually using all this electricity to power its proof of work consensus method, which is to make it very impractical or nearly impossible for any institution or any single attacker to overwhelm the Bitcoin network. So proof of stake is another consensus mechanism that is used by a lot of other cryptocurrencies that use significantly less power. So we're talking about way less than 1%, like what Elon is suggesting in his tweet, right? So he's probably referencing proof of stake algorithms. But proof of stake is arguably not as secure as Bitcoin's proof of work. So what a lot of people fail to recognize is that Bitcoin actually sacrifices everything in terms of other features for security. So Bitcoin being secure really helps this narrative of being the store of values, right? So institutions are not going to trust something that's not secure, right? Or that could be potentially attacked. So they're probably not going to put all their money into Dogecoin because, well, number one, Dogecoin has no hard cap, so that's another problem. It's inflationary. But besides that point, Dogecoin does not have the same security as Bitcoin, right? So institutions trust Bitcoin, and that's why institutions might be converting part of their balance sheet into Bitcoin soon, like what Tesla did and what MicroStrategy did, because if it was any other coin, they wouldn't feel comfortable doing it because it's not as secure, right? So again, my point is that proof of work is central to Bitcoin's whole value proposition to the world as a kind of reserve currency and store of value. So lastly, Bitcoin, in my opinion, actually incentivizes sustainable energy, because if you're a Bitcoin miner, your goal is to find the cheapest way to make your business operations run for as long as you possibly can without roadblocks. So governments right now are starting to levy carbon taxes, like how it is in Canada, on greenhouse gas emitters. So at the same time, the cost of renewable energy is also dropping. So if anything, crypto miners will be heavily incentivized to adopt sustainable sources of energy if they haven't already. And if you don't believe me, if you think that that's all BS, you know who agrees with me? Elon Musk. Yeah, he tweeted this reply to a post by Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Square and Twitter, just a few months ago. So obviously he agrees with this. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure why he changed his stance so fast, but again, if you're like me, you're probably hella confused as to this whole ordeal, right? I mean, when this tweet came out yesterday from Elon Musk, I felt like Caesar on the Ides of March. You know what I mean? So I saw a lot of emotional reactions too, as I was alluding to earlier. People were trashing Elon and saying that they're dumping all their Tesla shares. People are saying that Elon is like manipulating the market and whatnot. Personally, I don't really believe that. I don't think he has time, or he's not like, he's not an investor, he's not a day trader, right? He doesn't have time or like the mental like energy to go and like day trade Bitcoin or whatever, right? So I don't think that he's like purposely manipulating the market, as some people have suggested. But that brings me to like another question, right? What is he trying to achieve? So personally, I've taken some time to personally reflect on this and trying to get over the heat of the moment, which is why I didn't make a video right away, which is why I waited until now. So I really wanted to get over the heat of the moment and kind of avoid those off-the-cuff remarks. And here's what I think after thorough reflection, right? So I find myself still disagreeing with Elon on this, but I still have to agree that I have to like see it from his perspective, or at least try to see it from his perspective, right? So number one, Tesla is a renewable, sustainable energy company at the end of the day. So the vast majority of people today are not crypto believers, and they're not members of the crypto community. So everyday normal people still see Bitcoin as kind of this like dirty like thing, right? This environmentally unfriendly thing. So Tesla accepting Bitcoin is kind of damaging to Tesla's reputation to some degree. So that's number one. And number two, I can't help but think that there's some ulterior motive to this, right? This can't be the end of the story. So we're talking about Elon Musk after all. So this is obviously one of the smartest people in the world. So you really think he wasn't aware that Bitcoin mining uses like electricity, right? Obviously he knew about all of this, and all the people that were replying to Elon Musk trying to correct him, I bet he already knows all of this. So there must be some like ulterior motive, in my opinion, because like he wouldn't have decided to dump billions of dollars into Bitcoin on Tesla's balance sheet if he didn't do his research, right? So this is just speculation at the moment, and it's all rumors. But the rumor is that this is all part of a plan for Tesla to eventually roll out a crypto mining solution. So, for example, you have a mining rig that is built by Tesla that is integrated into the Tesla Powerwall and the Tesla solar roof. So it'll be 100% renewable energy, of course, because it's powered by the solar roof, and it will make you money as long as the sun is shining. So what Elon Musk has done is that he's effectively created this narrative where Bitcoin is dirty, but then he can go, hey, by the way, we can sell you this crypto mining rig that is completely 100% renewable energy that's powered by the Tesla solar roof. So why don't you buy this where you can make some money on the side, right? So maybe that's like a sign that Tesla is getting more into the crypto space in the future. So that's one theory. Another theory is that it's simply just tough love, okay? So he's purposely creating a controversy to get people to talk about Bitcoin. And it's like the saying that a bad publicity is still better than no publicity. So now that everyone is talking about it, and sure enough, everyone is talking about it, there's inevitably going to be new people that get into the crypto space because they just heard about it now. So otherwise, they would have probably never heard about it, or heard about it like a long time later from now, or they would have just never been interested in the first place. But now that everyone's talking about it, there's going to be like new entrants into this space. So it's like what happened with Robinhood and the whole GME thing, right? So if you guys remember, Robinhood stopped people from buying GME, and a lot of people were super pissed at Robinhood because they did that, and then a lot of people left Robinhood. But overall, Robinhood is actually doing just fine. So they're doing more than fine, actually. So the popularity of Robinhood, of the app, has only grown since the whole GME thing. So the company is actually doing really well, despite the bad publicity and the bad reputation that came as a result of it. So maybe this is Elon's way of rocking the boat as much as he can in order to push the crypto industry into adopting more sustainable and clean energy. So it's hard to say exactly what Elon is thinking because I'm not in his head. And I still disagree with this decision at the end of the day. But now that I have time to think about it, I can kind of see it from his perspective too. So yeah, it's kind of like a catch-22 for me. I don't know. It's really hard for me to say. Let me remind you though that in the same tweet that Elon made, that he said that Tesla has not sold any Bitcoin. So the company is still long billions and billions of dollars, and Tesla remains one of the most forward-thinking companies in the world. So for those people that are saying that, oh, because Tesla made this decision, I'm gonna like start selling all my Tesla shares, or like even shorting Tesla, or I hope Tesla fails, you guys are missing the point, right? Tesla is still one of the biggest supporters of Bitcoin, so make no mistake. In fact, I think that because he also said he's looking into accepting other cryptocurrencies as payment that use less energy than Bitcoin, this implies that Tesla's interest in the crypto space is only growing. So it's only increasing and not decreasing. So I saw a lot of news articles that claim that Elon did a reversal on his stance on crypto, and that is simply not what happened. That simply is not true, okay? So if we focus on the long term, I think that this story is far from over. This is only like the beginning of a part of the story, if that makes any sense. So I have a feeling that we're going to get updates on this story very soon. So we're going to see what else Elon has cooked up. So a lot of people saying that he might start accepting Dogecoin, or he might accept Cardano. I don't know, right? So there's a lot of like rumors flying around at the moment. So we'll have to see and watch for updates on this story. But I feel like there will be updates on this story very soon. In the short term, there's going to be a lot of pain, no doubt. And we're all feeling the pain as crypto holders. But also remember that Bitcoin does not live or die off of the opinions of one person, even if that one person is Elon Musk. So he's not the king of crypto. We have no king. That's kind of the whole point of crypto. Even if he dumped all of Tesla's Bitcoin, even if he said we're dumping all of Tesla's Bitcoin, it's going to crash the price, but Bitcoin is going to survive. So Bitcoin has survived like 80-90% drops before, so it can survive a tweet. Come on, guys. Anyways, those are just some of my thoughts. There's no need to panic, in my opinion. In fact, enjoy this buying opportunity, because who thought we would still be able to buy Bitcoin for under like $50,000 US, right? So I didn't think that we're gonna hit this level ever again when we broke 60,000, but now here we are at just below 50,000 once again. So I'll definitely be averaging in and continuing to buy the dip myself. So that's just my strategy though. Again, not financial advice. You do whatever makes you feel the most comfortable. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is I'm slowly, again, buying the dip. So I'm going to leave the video here. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you like the series. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links down below in the description as always. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.